Bit of a loss. But it's okay, guys. It's okay. We're here. This is Warriors Anonymous.
This is Warriors Anonymous.
Round 1 review of the New Zealand Warriors versus the Cronulla Sharks. My name is Jared Cronin. Joining me is Isaac Sauce, Moneta Sauce, and Daniel Wharakura. Boys, how are you all feeling after that loss? First of all, we'll start with you, Buddha, because all you wanted was 2 points for your birthday. What did you end up getting?
No, I got great. Everything else is good for birthday. Thank you very much, everyone. Fun, was great. A lot of wishes, but put it out there. Put it out there strongly. I had it out there strongly. I wanted a 2 NRL points gift wrapped. And in the first 20 minutes, I thought I was getting 2 NRL points gift wrapped. How wrong was I?
You just thought they were just going to tie up a nice little bow on top of it and be like, there you go. And you'd have been like, thanks very much. Before we even get into running through the Warriors game, we've got a couple of off-field issues to deal with. One Warriors related, one not so much. Isaac, we'll start with you, bro. There has obviously been a lot of chat around the NRL with the racism issue, particularly between Spencer Leniu and Ezra Mam. What is your take on everything that's been going on since that erupted?
My take on it is it's racist. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily think it is racist because they say it's one brown brother talking to another brown brother. I think Anthony Mundine has put it out there that Ezra Mam should just suck it up. But he got called a monkey. And from personal standpoint, from someone who's been called a monkey before, it hurts. It hurts to be called a monkey. And it's racist. So it should be construed that. And there should be zero tolerance for racism. Spencer knew he may have made a mistake. He may not have. Who knows? I don't know what his intentions were. But the fact is he said it. And he should pay for that mistake. There should be consequences to teach people that stuff has no place on the field, let alone in society. I just don't think it's on. And it was really disappointing because I quite like Spencer Leniu as a player. And to hear people using that term, actually just really, it was just disappointing. Really disappointing. And for those out on social media who don't think it's offensive in any way, I have to wholeheartedly disagree with you.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And it was even interesting getting a little bit of extra background from Nico Hines from the Sharks, who he came out and explained a lot of stuff publicly just about the particular use of that word against the Indigenous people in Australia, and how it has been quite it really landed, I guess, in terms of the effect it had on Ezra and a lot of people. So I think that it's definitely good that people have really gotten to the point where they're starting to understand a little bit more about it, because you're right, some people still don't get it, like, call people a monkey, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, bro, like I call my dog a monkey, like it's just it's different, it's just it's not on. There's no place for it, and I hope he gets a good sentence. Much as I don't want to see a guy like him off the field, just kind of think back, even thinking back a couple of years for Marcelo when he managed to get a little carried away with what he was saying, and he got a good 4 weeks on the sideline. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, it's time for the NRL to take a stand and just stomp it out and make an example of it. But
and they will. They will. They've come out, and there is talk that it could be as severe as half a season. That is huge in the context of it, and it has to be severe enough to just basically push it out of the game. And I guess it just seeps into a casual attitude of using flippant terms like that as well. And you need something to shock the system, because if it gets kind of covered up or he didn't mean to use it in that term, and I in all honesty, I just think he probably didn't understand the impact in the heat of the moment. I mean, he could have just said F you and F this and F that, and but he went try to go further. And so there is talk of it could be half a season. Whether that's too harsh or not, hey, look, the NRL will decide.
You have to acknowledge he has apologised and he's owned up to his mistakes, and he's still a young man, and he would be feeling the pressure. I reckon he knows he's mucked up, and so as wrong as it was, I think he's owned up, and he will get a punishment for it and a consequence. But I don't think it should be a detriment to his season, to his career, because I think he'll probably have it on his head for a long time. Yeah,
And
he's still a young man.
Yeah, one of the only silver linings I can really see out of this as well, it opens up an opportunity for people to learn about why it is wrong to say something like that, to use that term. Because again, you see on social media, people saying, oh, I use that all the time, nobody takes it seriously, I can't see how that's racist. Well, maybe this opens up the opportunity that we might not have had before to really explain or to get out to the public about why that is such an insensitive term. And, to Spencer News' credit, he reached out, and in all defense of Ezra Mam as well, he declined. He's hurt. That's what happens when you use a term like that. You don't know what Ezra Mam's history is with that particular term, but there's probably a history behind it, and that hurts. That hurts for a reason. So, silver lining, it opens up the dialogue about the dialogue and the opportunity to teach people why those things just can't be said,
Yeah, for sure. Now also Isaac looking fresh with the new merch, bro. It's looking nice. He's got the new the retro, the throwback white Warriors shirt with the red collar and the NZ Warriors. I'm just explaining it for people listening on the podcast. But looking good, man. It suits you.
Shout out to Mike Connor as well for his wife Rach getting him one when he already bought one. So I got the spare.
Oh, even better. Yes,
Shot Mikey.
Yes. Should have been your birthday, bro. Now, Moneta, while we're talking about off-field issues, something that's being called out quite a bit in the past couple of days is the... hang on, I'm just getting a call from a potential fraudster. Hang on. Get out of here, you.
Bring him into the podcast.
It's the only calls I get this. Yeah, talk back. I should have got them on. That'd have been great. Moneta, the state of our... first of all, our DJing and also our MCing at Mount Smart Stadium has seemed to have taken a slight turn for the worst. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. I don't. So I think they got rid of the original drummers also. Now they've got a new announcer. And they sound like they're borrowing the music playlist from the UK Super League. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I know they're trying to go in a new direction. I guess there's all, the catalyst is that the Warriors are now, looking like a premiership winner. But I don't think we stick to a winning formula like some of the oldies I would have thought. But yeah, I have to be brutally honest. I thought the new announcer was when he was chanting away, trying to get the Warriors chant going. And he sounded like he was taking a shit, if I'm being brutally honest. Warriors. I couldn't. Oh yeah, I was at the game. I was watching it with Isaac. I was like, "What the hell is this?" We were like, "Is he trying to rack up the crowd?" Because it sounds like he's just like bored, And so I wasn't quite sure. And I've noticed on the socials it's getting a bit of heat, a bit of attention too. So can't be the only one. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I wanted to check in with people who were at the ground to see what their thoughts were on it. And I could think of no other, no higher authority than the Warriorholic. And got to say, he was not impressed with what was going on. He said that there was no feel for the game flow. I know we got to also bear in mind that this is someone in a new job, right? So, and it's definitely not an easy one. So that's a real tip of the cap to Nick Brown for having done it for so many years. So you've got to sort of bear that in mind. But so far the initial kind of feedback has not been, it hasn't really been positive. So we'll see we'll see how it goes. I guess, much like the team, there's work-ons across the park and across the stadium as well. But Isaac, bro, we started on fire. We came out. We were all over them. We were completing our sets. We were kicking to the corners, and everything was looking so rosy. Bro, what happened?
No, there was sunshine and rainbows and fireworks and just, bang, all up in the stands. And then all of a sudden, I pinpointed one particular time in the game when it actually just all fell apart. There was 3 sets in a row attacking their line. I think SJ puts a short ball onto, Miss Jackson, and he drops it. And the momentum just swung in the blink of an eye. We surrendered a penalty. Sharks get upfield. They put some pressure on. Points are scored. And it just all started to unravel from there. We love, Miss Jackson on this podcast. But he didn't have the best of games. 3 drop balls, and they were all critical as well. The critical times of the game. And I'm sure he'll be kicking himself. But yeah, it really took the wind out of ourselves. And SJ made sure Jackson Ford knew it as well with a deluxe blow up at him as well, because you could tell that the time, the timing was just off. It was the wrong time for a mistake for that for it to happen. So that's what happened.
And you could see Sean as well, giving Jackson a spray. And then B, signalling to the guys outside, like, no, you guys stay out there. This was the right setup for it. You just need him to, you need Jacko to just catch the ball. Moneta, your man crush. Have we got a problem? Sorry, former man crush. Do we have a problem?
I mean, Jazz Tavanga in the trial game got dropped based on that very kind of, same kind of errors. He just dropped the ball a few times. So one would argue that, he may be under the same firing line as Jazz Tavanga was. Because if he keeps on playing like that, it was a killer to the momentum that we had in the first 20 minutes. I thought we were going to pump them after the first 20 minutes. So they just went all downhill after that. I'm hoping he will, I think he'll still be on the starting lineup this week. I think he's going to have a few hard words because he doesn't usually have that many errors. I guess he does have that occasional error, but I think he'll have another chance. But yes, I think he's under tight watch.
Maybe Webby's going to take the Denzel Washington approach from Remember the Titans. And make the guy just walk around the campus with the ball the whole time and just go, hey, hold on to it the whole time. Just don't let go of it. Now, something that happened in amongst the, probably it might have even been before the sort of key turning points of the eras, was that we had an opportunity to score a try. Sean put a wide kick for Dallin to jump up and catch the ball, which he did, all good. He caught it and then was tackled in the air by Ronaldo, and forced out of play. Now, initially, I looked at that and thought, okay, penalties, fair enough. But the more I think about it, I watched the replay again today, and I'm starting to kind of think that there are, if you look at parallels between someone stopping someone scoring a try, a clear sort of try-scoring opportunity, like taking someone out on a kick chase or whatever, they get 10 minutes in the bin. So we'll go around the room. Let's go with short balls. We'll start with you, Buddha. Should something more have come of that particular penalty?
It's a professional foul. You stop a try-scoring opportunity, and you can't argue that he wasn't going to score a try. Things could happen. He's got to catch it, but it was a professional foul. He deliberately took him out. What more do you want? As you're right, you kick a grubber through, so definitely more should have been done. And just to add to that as well, when's the last time someone hit someone square on the shoulder to the chin in the first 5 minutes? Last year, that's 10 in the bin.
Yep.
This year it's not. We're going through this roller coaster of of rule variations as well.
Yeah.
But now we've got the lifty leg thing.
Oh yeah.
You know? So the focus is on the lifty leg, but not the chin to the not to the shoulder to chin. So yeah, just a bit disappointed with that, but definitely, it's a professional foul.
Yeah, for sure. I thought Tohu Harris went to the referee and said those exact words. He's like, that's the definition of a professional foul. Isaac, what are your thoughts, bro?
Professional foul. I mean, yeah, by the same token, if he puts in a grabber, DWZ, and Mulatala runs him off the ball, the clear opportunity to score, that's a penalty try almost, isn't it? More so than a professional foul. I mean, they're the same thing. You're obstructing someone's ability to score by doing something that is outside the rules of the game.
Yeah.
So it's professional foul. I was fuming on that because it couldn't be clearer. How many replays do you need to show? You show the replays, it's clear as day, and penalties all we get for it. I thought the reffing, just outside of all that, I thought the reffing in that game was pretty average, to be honest. Yeah. A lot of the... I felt, and this is not a bias, but the Warriors were getting held down and getting a lot of niggle in the ruck, and it would go the other way. If it was the other way, if it was us, we'd get pinged just like that. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, there were some real borderline ones we got called for, and then even watching the replay back today, I was like, man, there was some of those tackles that just absolutely should have been penalties against the Sharks, but they weren't. Monitor, in terms of the Dallin catch and no try, penalty, sin bin, penalty try, send off. What would you have gone for?
It was a professional foul. Just cut the chase. It was a professional foul. You stopped them from the chance of trying to, score the throw. His foot wasn't grounded. And to Isaac, that ref was pissing me off. Yeah, and include that obstruction apparently. That one try in the second half. I thought, and if you're playing it to the T to the rule book, there was an obstruction. But yeah, I'll stop there. The ref was
Fair. Buddha, I felt like we were led really well at the front from guys like Adam and Tohu, but we picked up a bit of injury collateral from Wade Egan and Luke Capewell. Gutsy effort from him, by the way, to continue. Yeah. But bro, how do you see those injuries? Because they potentially could be lasting for a few weeks. How do you see that impacting what we're trying to do?
Well, just to put into context, we had Egan had to come off, had a spell, obviously, and then had only on for a few minutes before the Glitz of Doom folded his elbow. But put into context, when we had Wade on there, we were dominating the game 12-0 at the time, and when he wasn't there, we conceded 16 and we couldn't put any more points on. So that's a huge loss for us. And just kind of coming back, just a couple of points as well, is that he gets us going forward. He gets our big men over the advantage line. His dummy half manipulation, we always talk about it. He's the closest thing to Cameron Smith going around as well. And you see that, it's the subtleties. And then that's a flow-on effect all the way through. SJ wasn't getting the service from Lussick to get the ball in the right areas. The timing, we talk a bit about the timing on the back line as well, was slightly off. And it's because we're not getting front foot ball. So that's a big issue for the Warriors. And if he's going to sit 4 weeks down, to recover from an elbow thing, it could be an issue. And then, Catewell, he fell off a few tackles. The reason why he's got a pop cartilage ribs in as well. So, it's pretty hard. And you take Marata out, who's currently in a moon boot. The depth of squad, which we do have, is being tested early on. So, not what us Warriors fans want to hear with a trip to Melbourne coming up.
No, you did right. All I'll say is that the one lucky thing in Wade's case, at the very least, Dylan didn't clench, because that would have just ripped his arm clean off. The Glitz of Doom, baby. Monitor, new man crush. Get through all your man crushes tonight. Roger.
What are you saying?
What were your thoughts on Roger debuting at centre for us?
Yeah. I mean, I thought he played well, but I thought the Sharks also marked him pretty well too. Um, he wasn't as effective as he was as in the previous trial games, in the preseason games. Um, I I did notice that Montoya didn't get the ball as much also, and so I do wonder about his distribution in regards to those set play. Because again, last year we were based on those set plays as as part of our system, and it does bring a thought to my head about RTS. Is he still learning the system in terms of how we play as part of that new way the Warriors going forward? So yeah, I mean, I still think he could still play the centres, but it brought up food for thought on the weekend because Montoya didn't get much of the ball at all. Yeah.
I was disappointed that they didn't recognise the loss of Chance
Mm.
and like what Chance does really well, and is we all know is he can take up to 2 carries in a set, especially at the back end of the game. He always takes that fourth tackle as well, so that's getting good front foot ball on his front, good quick play the balls. And I just thought maybe that's better served having RTS have that play. And when they went to him early, and I know the talk was to go to him early, we weren't on the front foot, so they were just able to sort of suck him up as well. So yeah, I mean he's still effective and he's just getting back into it, but I just don't think we just didn't use him in the best of his ability.
Yeah, and watching the game back today, I thought that there was probably one clear instance where I thought he could have or should have given the ball outside to Montoya. Other than that, he wasn't really the way things were flowing. It just wasn't flowing, and he was kind of getting the ball, and there was no real space. He did dice Ramian a lot. He'd beat him so many times, but the Sharks system they had set up was really actually quite smart. They had him and well. They had Hines coming across and Nikora as well. Between those three, they recognised that Roger was going to be a threat, so they kind of hunted as a pack on him.
Is there any thought to playing RTS and then having Pompey at centre? Because the whole point about the system and how CNK plays, who's more like CNK in the fullback position, Tuapiki or RTS? I'd argue RTS is more like CNK, so you're not going to lose too much in terms of the system of how the Warriors play. And then with Pompey, you've got a ready-made replacement in centre. He played centre all year last year, and he did a serviceable job. He knows the system as well. It's no knock on Tuapiki. He had a great game, but he's a different player to how when the Warriors are obviously firing on all cylinders, how they can sort of structure their game. So that did bring up food for thought about, maybe is RTS the better player to play at fullback, even though all the talk has been about, no, he's the centre this year. Really made me wonder, is he going to be that guy that can do 2 hit-ups to a picky and a set in the return set? No, but RTS is.
And it does raise the question as well. I think it will start raising more and more of a question the longer that Chance is out. So it's still to be determined as well, amongst the other injuries that we're also dealing with. Good point about the attack, because it was the word clunky has been used by Andrew Webster. There was so many positives to come from the game, but we'll go with you, Isaac. How do we sort of how do we get our flow back, our left and right edge, moving back as we were more like last year?
I think I might have already just hit the nail on the head with my previous point, sorry, but I feel like Tuapiki is a great player. He had a good game in the weekend, but I feel like his style of play does not fit how the Warriors played when they were winning last year. I mean, with CNK taking 2 head-ups in that set of 5, giving the forwards a rest, Tuapiki can't play that sort of game, whereas I feel like RTS at the back can. He'd probably be more than willing to take a couple of head-ups in a set of 6. Also at the same time, and I think what happened last year when Tuapiki filled in, that right side attack that's normally seamless kind of fell apart a bit, and I just think it's his timing is a little bit off. I mean, Buddha's point about Freddie Lussick as well obviously didn't help that either, but I feel Tuapiki's not he's not there yet in terms of distribution skills. He's not up to where CNK is, and arguably the player that's closest to CNK in regards to skills is RTS. So it just brings up a lot of problems about that attack that served us so well last year.
Go back to the start of the game though. So what I think also Webby highlighted is we just went away from what was working, and we did that a few times last year, and we got caught out where we thought this is too easy. And so how did we score our first try? We literally bust them down the middle. We just kicked the door down, and we were just doing that for the first 20 minutes. But then you expect in round 1 to be able to play the shape that you did in round 24 when you were beating up teams. We just got a bit naive, and I think that's the big lesson. And I think that's what Webby alluded to in the presser, is that you went away from what was working. Why didn't we just keep smashing the middle? We could have had a field day there as well, but we decided to push those passes. Then you got this early season rust as well, so those things just didn't work. And next thing you know, we went to the very end of the game. We're trying the big play to win the game. It's like, no, knock the door down. We were so effective in the first 20 minutes, and we just went away from it.
And we were in pretty much every phase of the game, the better team, which is not something we've always been able to say about the Warriors. So at least we can take something from that. We obviously want to take your chances and get the win as well. But Buddha, the bench has also raised a bit of chat, particularly the fact that we had Bunty playing for 15 minutes. And I want to dance with Tom Ali. He didn't have a dancing partner at all, did he? He didn't get a dance. He had 0 minutes. How do we tweak our bench, or what do we do with our bench heading to Melbourne?
Well, I know they got thrown out with a couple of injuries. We had the Tuopiki HIA as well that required, I think it would have been Dylan Walker to push out as well. Lysak obviously had played a lot longer than anticipated as well, with Wade not being able to be there for a second stint. So things, like we talk about, benches have to cover the situations, but I guess the one thing that most Warriors fans can't get is why carry 2 props when one played 15 minutes. There wasn't an outside back utility or like a sort of another back utility. We were probably down a Josh Curran, go back to what Josh's role was really, play like, the last half an hour perhaps on the edge. So we're down an edge, and Mitch had to go out to the edge too. So, but we are blessed with guys that play big minutes. That's cool. But when there's injuries, just didn't have enough strike. So, the question remains what they're going to do about that, because it wasn't effective. And I think for the first time, it was probably, I don't know, it was just poor bench management, and we hadn't really seen that from Webby so far, last season. So it was reminiscent of Nathan Brown styles, right, where we just had some of the worst benches going. Well, not worst benches, just the worst use of bench going around. But yeah, I mean, Jed, you put it on a scale, mate. You go back to what past seasons with your scale, and you just give us an assessment of that bench.
I need to remember the scale. What do we have? At the top, we had the
Luke
Carolina
Warren
Reaper.
Chicken.
That was the Carolina Reaper is the hottest of the hot, i.e. the best of the best use of the bench. I think at the other end was probably Stephen McIver, cold-blooded, and then there was a number of things in between, right? Like I think there was Labrador temperament. You mentioned more butter chicken. I think we're getting quite cold. I need to try and remember some sort of. Did we have like Dunedin in winter or something like that? It is pretty cold. It is pretty cold. It's somewhere around there. It's somewhere getting pretty cool. I need to check that scale back, but
we did miss a Curran. We missed a Suriname. We just missed guys with fast legs at the back end of the game, just to make those runs. They used to make those runs in and behind and get us going again. And just to have that option, we just didn't have it. And I mean, we needed AFB back on 100%. But it was just it was a fail.
Yeah, versatility. Yeah, we need someone who can kind of do different things. The more that game wore on, I know it was the right call to put him into New South Wales Cup, heading into the weekend. But the more that game went on and the uglier it got, I thought, man, this is where Jazz would be so handy right now.
Yeah, that's what I said too. That's what I said during the game.
Hey, and Webby we trust. On that note, before we jump out of here, Moneta, how do we get this back on track? Are we surely we're not panicking after one loss?
I mean, I don't think we should panic after one loss. I think trying to be positive here. I still think their defense is solid. I mean, I thought they still. It was a pretty tight game at the end, and and a few silly errors actually basically costed us, and and we didn't play to our full potential, and we still kept it pretty competitive. So, I think we just have to remind ourselves to try to stick to the system, and I think they know that. And I could tell Toku Harris was looking a bit disappointed from the interview, and that he knew that they floated away from the system. So I think they'll be drilling that this week, and they'll be back against a very tough Storm side.
Yeah. Also, and looking back at the game, rewatching it, was really impressed with the scrambling work that Will Kennedy and Ronaldo Mulitalo did for the Sharks. They did so much stuff in their own end goal, cleaning up kicks and just generally saving the day. I was like, man, if those guys hadn't done all that they had, we would have taken that as well. But now we get into the probably the hardest question before we get out of here. Let's go hard or nah. We'll start with you, Isaac, just because of the nice jersey. Hard or nah, are we going to start the season 0-2?
That's a tough one. I'm going to be a bit of a dickhead, especially since I'm wearing the jersey. But yes, I think we're going to go off, too. No, I'm gonna go burn this jersey now. I don't deserve it. Warriors faithful. It's going to take a tall order to beat Melbourne at home. But maybe, just maybe, this sort of game is exactly what we needed to have happen going into that game, to realize that we're maybe getting a little bit too far ahead of ourselves and we need to go back to the basics.
Yep.
But Melbourne at home, I mean, historically, pretty tough.
Yeah. Moneta, hard or nah, bro? 0-2?
I feel the same as Isaac. I think, my heart's saying Warriors, but my brain's telling me no. So I'm going to go for my brain. 0. It's a nah. I mean, if we had C&K, all our Egan, all our top flight players, I would go yes. I'd say we could take this, but yeah, without them, nah.
Yep. There's a. Well, I mean, technically you're hard because you're saying we will start 0-2. I'm actually going to lean the same way as well, but I'm not panicking. 2 reasons. One, I actually feel like we might be a better team playing in Australia, because I think dry tracks will suit us more. But also Webby, where does he come from? The Penrith system, and Penrith never start well. So he's got it all under control. Buddha, hard or nah, bro? Are we going to start 0-2?
Nah. Nah.
I said, give him your jersey, bro.
I only say it because I just think there's enough. This team isn't just going to give up, right? I mean, it's going to be a massive ask. There'll be players down, but there's just enough there. I think we need to see, went away from what they were doing. They'll reflect on that. Just stick to their strengths. The DNA stuff was there from last year, right? The kick to the corners, the pressure. We did everything right, really, in terms of setups and all the rest. We just didn't execute as well. So I think we can, and we need to. Against Melbourne, we need to put a win on the board over there as well. We don't have the Anzac game there anymore. We've had some pretty shit results here, so I think the boys are up for ambush.
Yeah, I like it, bro. I like it. I wish I had that faith. On that note, don't forget to like and subscribe, Warriors Anonymous, on YouTube. And keep an eye out as well, because we're going to be bringing you stuff throughout the week. Plenty of content coming up, starting with Teams Day on Tuesday when we run through the team list. Had some good feedback from last week's episode, so stay tuned for that. But on behalf of Moneta Sauce, Isaac Sauce, and Daniel Whatakura, my name is Jared Cronin. We'll catch you next time, right here on Warriors Anonymous. Up the wires. Go the Warriors. And are we going to dance with Tom Ali this week? Hopefully.
He's never going to dance again.